today's video is going to be the second installment of a new series I recently started regarding pregnancy, being a new mom, and just advice from someone who's been through it a couple of times. And I wanted to dive deeper into the first episode I mentioned. It was, okay, I just found out I'm pregnant today, what do I do? And step one was find a provider and make an appointment. But I realized that there's a lot to that decision. So I have my notepad here with the 16 steps or 16 things to think about. Today I'm not going to be giving you the answers. I'm not going to tell you who to pick. I'm going to give you the questions so that you know what to ask and how to make that decision for yourself. One of those 16 is midwife versus OBGYN. So that is definitely a big decision, and I know that some women know the answer right away, and others you might need more information to make that decision. So I did see a midwife with one of my pregnancies, and I saw an OB with the other, one of my others. So it kind of makes me have an interesting, I think, outlook on that part. But let's go ahead and jump in so this video isn't like 45 minutes long. All right, so step one, or number one, is look at your insurance and find out what is in network. Who near you is in network. That will limit you from, I don't know where you live, maybe you don't have that many providers, but in the Phoenix area, there are thousands of OBGYNs, thousands of midwives. Like, I could choose 1,000 different people. So find one that's in network. That automatically limits me into half, or 2/3 of them are now an option. The next one is, what hospital or birthing center or wherever do they deliver? And is that place in network? So most of your insurance companies should probably have, if it's like a big company, should have a website where you can do that and filter people by if they're in network, and then where they deliver, find out if that place is in network. That automatically cuts your places and people, doctors or whoever, down again by like 50% or by whatever. So it just depends on what insurance you have. But generally speaking, you can use a website to do this, or you pick up the phone and call a provider you have in mind. But number three is location. Is their office convenient to your house? Are you going to be moving, I guess would be a good question too, but 3A. And is the hospital that they deliver at nearby your house? If you go into labor at 2 a.m. or think you might be in labor at 2 a.m. and you want to go get checked out, is it like a 3-hour drive to go to that hospital? Maybe that's not great if your water breaks at home and you're like, crap, I gotta go. So location. And think about too with the office is you're going to be going there once a week at the end, maybe more frequently. You might be going there once a month at the beginning, so it might not seem like a big deal. Oh, it's an hour drive, that's fine. But if you're going there every week and you have to take off work or something every time, you have to find childcare every time, think about location. Number four, do they have on-site ultrasounds? That doesn't seem like a big deal, but if you are a high-risk pregnancy or someone who gets a lot of ultrasounds, I did for different reasons, you want them to have it on site. So some of the older practices don't. It just depends in your area what options you have. Number five, on-site blood draws. So do you have to go over to a lab to get your blood drawn, or do they have an IOP, an in-office phlebotomist, somebody who can draw your blood and then send it to the lab for you? Number six is to check online reviews like Yelp and Google, whatever you can find, and ask friends and family for their recommendations. Maybe your best girlfriends, maybe your cousins, your sister, whoever you know in the area, or people you don't know, just use Google reviews. Just remember that the people who write those reviews are not usually the people who would give it a solid A- or B+ score. It's going to be the people who had really terrible experiences and really wonderful experiences. Just consider that those are the reviews you're reading. Probably the person who said, yeah, it was good, went as I expected, no issues, they're probably not the ones that are going to write a review, right? So just take that review, all of them, average them out to kind of find out which providers seem like they have what you're looking for. Maybe the reviews say this person is so caring and wonderful and lovely and spends a lot of time with you and da-da-da-da. And maybe the other reviews are like, my doctor knew how to handle a dangerous situation really well. Oh, well, decide, just read them to get an average feel for how that provider ranks online. Number seven is COVID. This is something I didn't have to deal with because I had my last baby in 2019, but if you are having a baby in this 2020-2021 world is telehealth appointments. Is that an option for me? I know that I can't telehealth an ultrasound, I can't telehealth peeing in a cup or whatever, but some of your appointments when you're just going in for a check every week or every 2 weeks, they may not actually need to see you in office. Is telehealth an option? If I have questions, can I just jump on with the doctor and talk for 5 minutes? Like, is that an option? Who can come with me to my appointments? What kind of precautions are you taking in your practice for COVID to protect me and my baby? Can I take pictures and videos and send them to you? Like, is there a way for us to do this? Can I take pictures and videos in the hospital when I'm delivering? Things like that. Number 8, chemistry. This one is gonna be really hard to find online, of course, but if you're going to be interviewing pediatricians too, but this is useful for an OB or a midwife, do you get along with their personality? You are going to spend a lot of time with this person, some very intimate moments, and they need to laugh at your jokes. You need to feel like, yes, this is a business transaction, right? I'm paying you for this service, you're delivering my baby, like we do have a business transaction going on, but like, do you treat me like a human? Do I feel, you don't need to feel warm and fuzzies, you know, do you get a hug every time you come in? Maybe not, okay, cool, but you need to like them. You're gonna be telling them some really intimate details like, hey, sex hurts, or I fart a lot, or like, you know what I mean? Like you don't wanna feel like they're judgy. You wanna feel like they have a similar mindset as far as your tendency to want to take medication or your tendency to, whatever, eat only Fruit Loops because that's all the baby will let you eat. You know what I'm saying? You just have to like them. So there has to be a chemistry there, and that's something that's impossible to tell online per se, but you can definitely get a feel if you read reviews. That helps. Number 9, office hours and their after hours and convenience. So if you are someone who works Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and that is it for their office hours, maybe you don't want to go with that practice. Maybe there's a practice nearby that you can look up that is in network and checks all those other boxes that perhaps has Saturday hours or is open one night a week till 7 or, you know, that kind of a thing. So like, if you have to make appointments seriously every single week, do you want to have to take 3 hours off of work every time? Do you want to take a half day every week at the end? Like, no, maybe not. So look at their hours, and then after hours, do you have somebody to answer your phones? No, probably an OBGYN will, right? Because women go into labor after hours all the time. But you want to make sure you know that they can be reached if you're like 8 weeks pregnant. You're not in labor. You're not like bleeding, gushing blood. Are you allowed to reach out to them? Do they have a nurse, somebody on call who can just chat with you about your concern? You know, you need to know that. That's something that is useful. And is it convenient to make an appointment with them? Do they fill up so fast that you can't even get in and you have to take whatever time they have available? Or are they more open scheduled and more willing to work with you? That's important if you have a busy life. Like for me, I had another kid at home and I had a full-time job when I was scheduling for my second baby. I was like, I can't just come when you have an opening. You have to work with me. So think about that. You know, how busy are they? Number 10, what is your risk factor here? Like, are you high risk? Do you have previous miscarriages? Do you have any other health concerns? Do you have like epilepsy? Do you have anything that might complicate this? Are there a lot of multiples in your family? Do you think there's a possibility, like a likelihood that you'll be having twins or triplets? You know, what are your special things that you think you might need someone who has more letters after their name? Like instead of a midwife, you might want someone with an OBGYN or perinatologist or whatever they call them. The people who, prenatal, you know what I mean? The people with high risk pregnant women. That is something to consider. Number 11, can they be your doctor for life? Can they not only deliver your baby, but also do your cancer screenings for the rest of your life? Can they guide you on, number 12, breastfeeding support? Are they a certified lactation consultant? Do they have someone like that in their practice who can help you? Are they pro breastfeeding? What do they think about other things? So you have to talk to them. And sometimes this isn't going to be on the website. Sometimes it is. It might just be a simple little blurb about them, and their bio on their website, if you can find one, is like, can you also provide me with these other things? Are you just going to deliver my baby and I'm never going to see you again? Or am I just going to create this relationship, this lasting bond, and only have to show my vagina to one person? You know what I'm saying? Nah, let's be honest, it's gonna be more than one person. I'm just giving you that heads up. you don't even know who's in that room when you give the baby. You're just like, take the baby out. I don't care who's in there. But that's another point for another day. Number 13, how many doctors are there in your practice? Who will it be at my delivery? Or how many midwives do you have? Is it going to be you? Or am I going to end up with one of 12 doctors? Like, what if I happen to go into labor on a Sunday morning? Like, are you going to come in your, robe and deliver my baby? Do you take a lot of trips? Do you go golfing a lot? Like, am I going to be able to reach you? Now, one of the practices that I went to was a single provider. One of the practices that I went to had like 8 OBGYNs and like 8 midwives, and you basically made an appointment with a different person every time intentionally. So your first appointment might be with Susie, and your second appointment might be with Mary, and your third appointment might be with Deborah or something, intentionally, so that when you do have the baby, you have already met all of them once and it's not like a shock to you, Well, funny story is I did meet 7 of the 8 with my pregnancy with my now 3-year-old, and the 8th one that I never met was the one who ended up delivering her. Do I care? No, I wanted the baby out and healthy and quickly. So I didn't care as much. But do you know what I'm saying? Like, is it important to you that you get the person that you went to the entire pregnancy? If so, that will determine, might help you eliminate some providers from the listing you find on Google of who's in your area. Number 14, I think I'm number 14. What are your thoughts on prescriptions? Like, are you very, I don't know what the right word is, but loosey-goosey prescribing stuff, or are you a more natural doctor? Are you gonna, tell me to try natural remedy 1, 2, and 3 before you prescribe me that antibiotic or that extra medicine? How are you on that? And you don't always know that, and you won't know per se until you get to that point where you're like, my acne is out of control, and the doctor's like, eat more leafy greens, drink more water, and you're like, F you, I'm puking every day, give me something. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna have to get a feel for that, and Yelp reviews might help, or you can ask. Like, you can tell if a midwife is gonna be more natural, if that's your kind of thing. If you tend to not be the person who goes for the medicine first and you try to just handle it yourself, that might be something to definitely consider. And then I think we're on number 15 is an online portal or a website for lab results, for making your payments, to ask questions, to make appointments, see pictures, or send them pictures if you have a concern of something that looks a little weird to you, what approved medicines they let you take when you're pregnant. And you just want to ask questions, make an appointment. This is a place, if they have an online portal where you can make your payments, that's amazing. I used to have to sit on the phone with one of these practices. I won't say which one, but I had to call them, sit on hold for 10 minutes to make an appointment. When I wanted to pay a bill, I had to like either mail them a check or come in person to one of my appointments with my checkbook to pay. They didn't let me pay online. And then for lab results, I had to call in, leave a message for the nurse. Then the nurse would call me back with my result if they had it. If not, I'd have to call back later. It was a mess. But my later provider that I had with my last pregnancy, I could just like send him a message in the portal. Hey, did you get my labs back? If I didn't see them. Otherwise, my labs were uploaded, all my results were uploaded to the portal. I could make a payment there, I could make appointments, I could just leave a quick message. It was amazing. So that is something that is handy if you are a tech person like me. So number 16 of 16, I don't want to make this too long, so I'm just going to go over my midwife versus OBGYN thing here to help you decide. Now, I will say, I saw a midwife with my pregnancy with my now 3-year-old and ended up with an OBGYN delivering because I had a C-section. So I am skewed, I will admit, to the OBGYN side for that reason. I was not high risk as far as I knew going into it. I thought I wanted a natural birth and all of those things, but at the end of it, I ended up with an OBGYN. So let's go ahead and talk about the benefits of an OBGYN and the benefits of a midwife. OBs have more schooling, they're more able to handle high-risk pregnancies, multiples, for other risk factors like epilepsy, gestational diabetes, preeclampsia, all those things, okay? So they have more business-like in their approaches. They are quicker into the appointments. They're like, get the business done that we need to do, and get out of there, okay? It's not that they don't care. You will find OBGYNs that do care. They will remember your name. They will be kind to you and polite and know your spouse's name and greet you and, whatever. It's not like they're gonna be jerks, but an OBGYN is more business-like. And they see things through a scientific or medical lens, right? So they're they're thinking the medicine. They may prescribe you things more freely, and they definitely are licensed to do so. They're certified by a bunch of boards, and they can prescribe you these things. They can perform surgery. If you need a life-making, life-threatening condition resolved, they are there. They can take action quickly. They don't need to wait for someone to come into the room to take care of it. If you're losing blood, like gushing, they can do whatever it is that they might need to do. They don't need to page a doctor, an OBGYN or someone else to come in and handle the situation. They're quick acting. They're delivering you in a hospital, all of that. However, you will get the same access, I'm reading this because I wrote my notes, the same access to prenatal care and screenings no matter what, if you go to an OBGYN or a midwife. So it's like a certified nurse midwife. There's the kicker. Nurse midwife. This is a person who didn't have as much schooling as the OBGYN, but they're going to spend more time with you in the room. Rather than a business transaction, they're going to be there for more emotional support. They're going to have that bond with you. They're going to say, oh, give me a call if you have any concerns. If this is one thing that my midwife, one of my midwives told me with my pregnancy with my 3-year-old, if it's concerning to you, it's concerning to me. Give me a call. I was like, oh, well, I'm concerned, so she's concerned. That was amazing. My OB was like, what do you want me to do about it? Yeah, you have a sore back, you're pregnant. You know what I mean? Like, there's a difference. But the OB was like, well, let's talk about it. What can we do? You know, more like, here's my cell phone number. Give me a call if you need anything. You're going to have that personalized relationship. You have the option of delivering in the home, in a birthing center perhaps. Just depends. In a tub, a water birth, you might have more options for that. If you want a hospital birth with a midwife, you could probably get that too. But, you know, this is something you need to decide before choosing your provider. And remember, just a side note, you can change at any time. You're not locked in, okay? They're going to be a coach in delivery, but also in labor. So your OBGYN is going to be there for like, seriously, the last 20 minutes of your labor. Your delivery, right? But your midwife might be there for hours. They're going to be with you. They're going to be coaching you at pain relief. So they're going to be better at pain management, like breathing and massage and telling you to change positions if you're uncomfortable, encouraging you to get in the tub and labor there for warmth. They're going to be, you know, there for fewer medical interventions. They have a better success rate for VBACs, a vaginal birth after a cesarean. They have a lower rate of cesareans. They're less likely to give you an epidural, an episiotomy, use forceps, a vacuum to get the baby out. They can probably prescribe you medications, but they're less likely to. So this is the thing. Midwife, the reason I chose them, I thought I wanted natural. I thought I wanted warm and fuzzies. I wanted that emotional support. I wanted that instant access to them, to call them and chat. I wanted that one person to be there in the delivery room that I was familiar with, that I felt comfortable with, that I trusted. I wanted to feel happy. When I lost a baby, well, how should I put this? It's a long story, but they thought I lost a baby. My midwife came in and cried and hugged me and said, I am so sorry. And I had that relationship with her. The OBGYN that I went to later, I actually really do like him, okay? I love him. And if I had another baby, I would 100% go to him. He was like, well, it looks like, or I'm sorry to be the one to tell you this, but, and he felt it. You know, you could tell he wasn't happy to deliver the news and he was sensitive to me, but he didn't cry. He didn't hug me. He said, I'll give you a few minutes, and he left. Do you know what I'm saying? There's a difference in the midwife versus OBGYN. So without this video being like 10 times way longer than it needed to be, because it probably already is, and I'm rambly, I just wanted to give you guys that 16th tip that took up half the video probably, of midwife, OBGYN, what questions do I need to ask to be able to choose the right provider to deliver my baby and help me navigate pregnancy. Hope you guys found this helpful. Ask me any questions down in the comments below, especially if you think I should do a separate video on it, let me know. Thanks for watching, bye.